up there, or third, I don't know what they are now, and they basically couldn't get over, one couldn't get over trees rotted, and the other couldn't get over that they were petrified, because one lived in Georgia, and the other one lived in Kansas. Okay, so Mount Sunflower, admission free. That's where you can eat lunch, if you brought it. It's a little kind of, we would call it a gazebo, and it's got fence around it, otherwise cattle chew on the wooden little seats in there, and you can go in there and eat. But you have to bring your own. No bathrooms, but its admission is free. All right. This is about an hour and a half south of where I was raised, to the left, like to the east. This is new from 2018. It's the Little Jerusalem Badlands State Park. This is a lime rock erosion event, and you can go, it's over 10,000 acres. It was donated to the state by a family that had privately owned the land for 4 generations, and it is beautiful. And I'll go to the next slide where you can see, maybe Linda Mason went with me last July. She said, I've got to go and just meet all these people that you know and see all this. And she wanted to go there at sunset. I think before we got there, she was a little dismayed because we seemed to keep driving on smaller and smaller roads. And I said, hang in there. And the signs were kind of small, not, your usual attraction. But the sunset is beautiful, and again, you see the tree line. There's no trees unless you plant them, and we do plant trees on the west and north of our homes. And that's called a windbreak. And it buffers the house from the wind that always comes from the north and the west. And somebody asked Randy Stillwell, how many days a year does the wind blow? And I said, about 350. And they call me from Kansas and say, what's the wind gust today? 5 or 10 miles an hour. Because wind gusts out there start at 50. That's a gust. Because it blows. Okay, so and this too is $3 admission. And Rhonda, one of my cousins, said, be sure to use the bathroom at the convenience store before you turn south, because sometimes those bathrooms are out of order. Good thing we did, because the bathrooms were out of order. So, $3 to go, and basically honor system. There's nobody running this state park. You just drive up. And there's a way to walk within it. Okay, now, Dodge City, we go about 2 hours south of this state park, is Dodge City, and we've all probably heard of Dodge City, Kansas, and it has and probably Randy did, I went when I was 8. I won't tell you how many years ago it was, but probably not the same as when I was 8. But they celebrate frontier heritage. Dodge City was a big thoroughfare for herding cattle. A lot of cowboys there. They have kind of a reenactment area where there's gunfights, there's museums, there's things that you can go and visit. And it's called, this is the Boot Hill Museum that you can go in. And there's people that run. You want to add anything?
Yes, it was interesting. One of the lawmen at the time was Wyatt Burke.
Yeah.
And he was from Iowa, I believe, and went to Dodge City, was a sheriff, and he got out to Tombstone in Arizona, and the gunfight at the OK Corral. But it's very interesting, a lot of history, and it was a great trip.
It is. And a lot of people think the OK Corral is in Dodge City, Kansas, which I said it's not, but it's similar in form and function. Okay.
Front Street.
Front Street. Mm-hmm. Now, where are we now? If we look at this screen, we're down in the very southwest area of Kansas, is Dodge City. So now we're going to move east. And I've been to the Maxwell Bison Preserve, where you rode in like a trolley, open air, and they meant it when they said, keep your hands inside. We found out, and I knew this, you do not herd bison or buffalo. You can encourage them, you can entice them, you can try to fool them, that if they don't want to go, they're not going to move, and you cannot move them. They are far larger and massive than they look in this picture. I moved from the window seat, so to speak, to the inside seat and let somebody else sit closer to the bison than me. But it's beautiful. They're majestic animals. They truly are. Bison is used in a lot of restaurants in the state of Kansas, especially a bison brisket, which is excellent. It's an excellent brisket. But they are here, they're not sold from this preserve. But people can raise them. Most of them give up because when they go out, no fence stops them. Barbed wire fence doesn't faze them, electric fence doesn't faze them, and most people find that they spend their working days encouraging, enticing those bison to come home because they aren't interested, and the neighbors don't want them in their yard either. So bison, the money sounds good, but they don't tell you the hard part of maintaining these bison. Okay, this is new for me. I've only been here once. Now we're heading east. We're along the southern part of Kansas, and in southeast Kansas is what they call the Tall Grass Prairie Preserve. And this, they're trying to preserve about 25,000 acres to look like it did when buffalo roamed Kansas. That it's basically all natural, all Kansas grasses here. And I didn't actually go into the preserve, but we drove kind of a swoop around it. It is absolutely gorgeous. Just gorgeous. It's so peaceful there. Again, southeast Kansas is relatively rural. There's not a lot of interstates. There aren't a lot of motorcycles driving by. It was so that we rolled the windows down and we just listened. You could hear the little rustling of the grasses. It was just a wonderful experience down there. Okay, so we're kind of at southeast. We're going to head up a little different. This is Overland Park, which is a suburb of Kansas City. I intentionally did not include Wichita, Topeka, or Kansas City that much in this talk because those are easily found when you say what to do in Kansas. And those are easy to find on the internet. This one's a hidden gem. It is the Overland Park, which is a suburb of Kansas City, South Kansas City. This arboretum and botanical garden is in Bucyrus, Kansas. Didn't know it. It was a new one for me. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's about 5,000 acres, and it's maintained. Admission is $3. They do have working bathrooms, and they do have like people that will help you if you get lost. Many trails. The day I've been there twice. The last time I was there were a group of Boy Scouts that had a worksheet from the arboretum, and they were working through it, I think working on a badge, maybe in botany or something like that. Very respectful, it was just a delight to sit. You could sit, there were many places to sit and just enjoy it. All the flora was tagged, where you had little plaques in front of them that told you what they were. Gorgeous azaleas, gorgeous lilies. One time we were there in May, it just took your breath away. Well worth it if you ever go to the Kansas City area. Okay. Now we're going to kind of getting on the interstate now. We haven't even been on the interstate since we left my hometown. All 2 lanes. We're on the interstate to go to Abilene, which is Dwight D. Eisenhower's boyhood home. Again, I probably haven't been there in 20 years, but it was very educational, and there is also a library in Abilene for Dwight D. Eisenhower. Uh-oh, Nikki. There we go. Oh, my favorite, the largest ball of park. Now, this is under hot debate. Evidently, there's 3 or 4 who claim to be this, and there's always little mitigations of continuous ball of twine. This one you can add to if, and only if, at the time that we went, you were raised in Kansas. Which evidently somebody in the group seems to be raised in Kansas if they stop there. It's free. It too, look to the side to the right, has a little picnic bench there where you can bring your lunch. It's right off the main drag, and but it's approximately 8 feet tall. And so it's the largest. Copper City is a town of about 300. We stopped at the Welcome Center, and who was there? A family member of Eunice Andrews. My mother's cousin, Dorothy. And she did give me my 12-inch piece of twine, but my husband didn't get one, nor did my daughter. And she said, well, you know, maybe next time. Don't loosen that. But it is a delightful place. A lot of people stop there and get their picture taken. And Copper City is, again, we're heading kind of back to Eunice's hometown, off the interstate. You have to get off not far from Abilene and head north and go a little west. And that's where this largest volleyball is. Man. Is just like an attraction, I guess, down in Florida, like you could stop somewhere and look at the alligators maybe with 3 eyes or something. It's just well, they may have started it because twine is used like to bale hay. So they may have, somebody may have started just to roll that up, and then it just right, didn't have a good hay run, so thought, what are we going to do with this twine? We'll make it all up. We'll make it into a ball. I don't ever ask that question, Jeanette. That's what we go to in Kansas.
When you deal with hay and straw, you sure hate throwing away the twine.
That's true. That is true.
It's so much it's used.
4 or 5 feet long. It goes around.
Yeah.
So
It's useful.
it's not so this. It's gonna go around the bale.
Yeah, true.
And tie it.
And tie. Oh, yes. So the next stop, again, we're going a little north of Copper City and a little west, is the Geological Center of the United States. Now, it says Smith Center, Kansas, and technically, if you're a native, you say it's 3 miles north and a half a mile west of that marker, is the official. On private property, but there's a plaque there, and they say basically if you had the 48 states on an even plane, it wasn't paper, but something, and you put it on a little, not a pin, but a little pointer, it would balance. So that's technically where it is. And Smith Center, Kansas, is about an hour east of where I was raised.